Archangel Michael says your spirit has noticed the pattern even when your mind tried to explain it away. He reaches for you with warmth, sincerity, and urgent devotion that burns like a lighthouse in thick fog. And yet, a shadow moves behind him, a presence that pretends to be distant while standing too close. You felt it the first time the night grew strangely quiet after his phone lit up. His eyes softened when he spoke your name, but his shoulders stiffened like he was bracing for waves. A truth lives here, and it asks for light rather than panic. Archangel Michael says you are not foolish for believing in the goodness you saw. Love is the language your heart learned to speak before it learned to fear. But love without honesty becomes a room with a locked window and borrowed air. There is another woman orbiting his life with a smile built of secrets. She knows when to call and when to vanish, like a tide kissing the shore and then dragging the sand. She is not your enemy, but the storm she brings cannot live in your house. He tells you he loves you, and he does, in all the ways he knows how to love. He presses his hand to your back in crowded rooms so you know you're safe with him. But his history keeps returning like unclaimed baggage turning the carousel at midnight. Archangel Michael says the test is not whether you can endure confusion. The test is whether you can honor yourself in the middle of it. You are worthy of a garden, not a hallway. This other woman learned to survive by holding on to what is not hers. She braids attention with scarcity, and he keeps mistaking nostalgia for destiny. They are two people stuck in the echo of what once felt simple. He tries to keep peace by dividing his heart into rooms. You feel it as a delay, a pause, a softness that goes missing after certain calls. Your body hears him even when your ears don't. Archangel Michael says the truth does not need to shout. When it arrives, it sits on the table like bread and asks to be shared. You can taste it and still say no to the crumbs. You will notice the way he speaks about her, as if he owes her weather reports. He says, "It's nothing," but his silence has fingerprints. He calls it history, but it behaves like a promise he forgot to break. The story started long before you. They built a raft from old memories and sailed it across present time. Now he stands on your shore with wet footprints and pleading eyes. Archangel Michael says mercy is sacred, but so are boundaries. Mercy forgives, boundaries prevent repetition. You are allowed to close a door with love still in your hands. You will remember a night when the wind changed and the streetlights hummed. Your phone did not ring, but your intuition did. It told you to breathe, to wait, to watch with gentle courage. He loves you in the morning when your voice is soft. He loves you in the evening when your laugh loosens the room. He loves you on ordinary Tuesdays when you organize the kitchen and hum without thinking. Archangel Michael says love that asks you to shrink is not love that can keep you warm. If your light must flicker for another's comfort, that is a warning, not a request. You deserve a flame that brightens on purpose. The other woman wears patience like perfume. She lingers in the corridor of almost, pressing old keys into new locks. She is not the villain of your life, she is the mirror of what you will not accept. He tells you there are complications. He uses words like timing, transition, and closure as if they were furniture he can move later. But doors don't close themselves, and chapters don't end without ink. Archangel Michael says, ask not with trembling, but with steadiness. Ask with the strength of a sunrise that arrives whether the city is ready or not. Let your voice be the street where truth walks without disguise. You will craft sentences that hold no accusation, only clarity. You will say, I honor what we share, and I honor myself enough to require clean mirrors. You will breathe and leave the silence to do its work. He will nod, then look away, then return to you with a truth he has resisted. He will say there is someone he has not let go of, or someone who has not let go of him. He will say he didn't want to lose you before he knew which bridge to cross. Archangel Michael says you cannot be a bridge and a destination at the same time. Choose to be a destination, rooted, whole, impossible to mistake. Let those who are meant to arrive do so by choice, not by confusion. You will remember the light in his eyes the day he promised to be better. You will also remember the twilight when promises felt like fog. Both memories are real, and both deserve a seat at the table of your wisdom. The other woman texts with timing that suggests choreography. Sometimes she disappears for weeks, then returns like a wave rehearsed by the moon. She wants proof that he is still reachable, and he keeps answering audits from a past that never filed its taxes. Archangel Michael says dignity is a lighthouse. Stand tall, shine far, and do not chase boats that refuse to steer. If they desire safe harbor, they know where you are. Write your boundary like a prayer written in steady ink. Say, I do not share what asks to be mine in full. Say, love is welcome here, but triangulation is not. He will try to keep all the plates spinning. But love is not a circus, and you are not an act between intermissions. Let what must fall, fall gently, and let what must stay, stay with both feet. Archangel Michael says he must choose daylight. He must choose to end what is ending, not stall it with apologies. He must choose a future that does not need passwords and hidden folders. Your heart will ache, because endings and truth both stretch the skin. But your heart will also widen, because dignity is a door to a larger room. In that room, only clarity speaks. The other woman may call you names in her mind. She may craft the story where she is the promised one and you are the interruption. But stories written in scarcity lose readers when abundance arrives. Archangel Michael says do not argue with someone else's narrative. Live yours so fully that it makes debate unnecessary. The tree does not explain its roots to the wind. There will be a day when he arrives sober with resolve. His voice will be lower, his phone face down, his hands open. He will say he ended it, or he will say he cannot. If he ended it, you will not rush to celebrate. You will watch for consistency like a gardener watches the sky. You will trust growth, not speeches. If he cannot, you will not bargain with your worth. You will not loan yourself to uncertainty with compounding interest. You will step back with grace as if leaving a room that suddenly shrank. Archangel Michael says love does not die when you choose yourself. It changes shape, learns new language, respects the lines you draw. Your heart is a cathedral that requires quiet to echo truth. The nights may feel long for a while. You will count memories like candles and let them burn out naturally. You will sleep without checking the clock for his return. The mornings will begin to forgive the nights. You will make tea and notice how silence can be kind. You will laugh again at something small, and your laugh will sound like arrival. Archangel Michael says release is not abandonment, it is stewardship. You are stewarding your future by refusing to be divided. You are honoring the child you once were by giving them a home without secrets. He may come back with clean hands. You will not punish, you will verify. You will look for a calendar of honor, not a weekend of change. The other woman may move on to a new orbit. She, too, is learning from a map drawn by need and memory. Bless what you can and step away from what you cannot carry. Archangel Michael says forgiveness is a door you open for air, not a bed you sleep in with your boundaries outside. Forgive so your chest can expand again. Keep your door locked to the behaviors that made you small. One day you will tell this story without trembling. You will say, I learned to love without losing myself. You will say, I did not compete, I chose peace. He will understand exactly who you are when you stop explaining. He will either meet you at that level or release himself from your horizon. Either way, you will remain whole. Archangel Michael says call your power back from every moment that made you doubt. Call it back from unanswered messages and half-kept promises. Call it back from rooms where your name was not protected. Your future partner may be him refined by truth, or someone you haven't met yet. The lesson is the same, you require clarity, not excuses. You require presence, not performance. Archangel Michael says your heart was not designed to be a waiting room. It is a home with windows open to honest light. Those who enter must come without disguises. So take inventory with kindness. Keep what builds, return what confuses, discard what wounds. This is not cruelty, this is craftsmanship. Archangel Michael says the right love will not fear being seen. It will not need dim corridors or conditional calendars. It will walk beside you at noon and still be there at dusk. If he chooses you fully, he will demonstrate it with endings completed, not promises pending. He will make the hard call, send the clear message, and honor the closure with the dignity it deserves. He will not manage two suns and call it weather. Archangel Michael says there is no triangle where self-respect lives. There is only a line you draw and a door you guard. On the other side of that door is peace. You will learn to trust your first knowing again. You will recognize the difference between butterflies and alarms. Your body will thank you for listening. Archangel Michael says to stand in a mirror and speak your own name with warmth. Say it like a vow to protect your softness and your steel. You are not difficult to love, you are difficult to mislead. Let your standards be a melody, not a fence. The right hearts will harmonize. The wrong ones will drift out of tune and out of range. Archangel Michael says to unclench your future. You do not have to solve every room before you enter it. Walk with the certainty that you can exit any room that does not honor you. There will be new dinners, new Sunday afternoons, new laughter that doesn't check its phone. There will be rain you actually enjoy because no one is hiding in it. There will be sunsets you watch with eyes unborrowed. Archangel Michael says everything that is for you becomes easier to breathe. It may still ask for effort, but not exhaustion. It may still ask for courage, but not contortion. This man loves you, and that is true. But love is only the beginning of what you deserve. You deserve alignment. If he meets you there, build. If he cannot, bless and release. Either way, you win because you chose truth. Archangel Michael says step forward now. Your next chapter waits with doors that do not mislead. Your life is ready to be fully yours. You are not a secret. You are not a compromise. You are the answer to a prayer you finally decided to keep. Archangel Michael says the sky will look different when you honor yourself. Colors sharpen, air sweetens, time loosens its fists. You realize the horizon was never running away, you were. Trust that what is real can survive the light. Trust that what is meant will not ask you to hide. Trust that your heart is safest in your own hands first. Archangel Michael says, if he returns with clarity, receive him with wise joy. If he stays behind, leave him with gentle truth. If you walk alone for a season, walk like a queen who knows her way home. You will not be measured by what someone else could not choose. You will be known by the way you chose yourself without needing to diminish anyone. That is strength that keeps doors open and storms quiet. Archangel Michael says breathe again. Make a life where your phone is not a siren. Make a love where your name is a haven, not a hallway. This story is yours to write in that stand up straight. Write it with chapters that end when they should and begin when you are ready. Archangel Michael says you are not late for your own life. You arrived right now, with exactly the courage you need. Step into the room where you are chosen without competition. The past will wave from a distance. You will wave back with gratitude and keep walking. Your future is waiting at a table set for two, without shadows standing behind the chairs. Archangel Michael says you did not lose love, you found worth. You did not lose a dream, you found the door to a better one. You did not lose time, you traded it for wisdom. Hold your head high and your heart steady. Let your boundaries be kind and non-negotiable. Let your joy be proof that you chose well. Archangel Michael says this is the moment your story turns. From confusion to clarity. From divided attention to devoted presence. Whether he stands beside you or fades beyond the hill, you remain whole. Whether she retreats or reappears, you remain unmoved. Because your center is no longer for rent. Archangel Michael says, be proud of the way you loved. Be prouder of the way you learned. Be proudest of the way you chose the light. Now close this chapter with your name spelled correctly and your worth fully intact. Open the next one with doors that do not creak. Walk in like the answer you are. Archangel Michael says your courage grew quietly while the world was loud. It gathered itself in the small choices you made when no one was watching. Now it stands beside you like a faithful sentinel. You began clearing the drawers of half-truths. Old messages, vague promises, and those calendar gaps found names and explanations. Naming what hurt did not break you, it broke the spell. He noticed the change in your breath before he heard the change in your words. You stopped cushioning his hesitations with your softness. You let silence measure the distance between intention and action. Archangel Michael says steady hearts make steady rooms. You do not need grand speeches to confirm what is real. Consistency is the language you now require. You wrote a boundary that didn't tremble. You wrote it like directions to a home you actually want to live in. You handed it to him without pleading for approval. I care for you, you said with a clear voice. I will not share the space that is meant to be whole. Close what is open elsewhere, or release me with respect. Archangel Michael says that line drew a horizon he could no longer ignore. A man who wants sunrise walks toward the light, a man who wants shadow stands still. You watched to see which he would choose without chasing either outcome. He tried to negotiate with time. He asked for later, for leniency, for a softer definition of loyalty. But the future you are building does not pay in extensions and IOUs. Archangel Michael says love shaped like a triangle always collapses. Too many edges, not enough foundation. You chose architecture that lasts. The other woman remained a fog on the hill. Sometimes nearer, sometimes far, always visible in the weather report. You stopped forecasting her and started gardening yourself. Your table grew simpler. One plate, one candle, one honest seat. You said it nightly as a ritual of self-respect. Archangel Michael says rituals become rails for the soul. They carry you across the weeks when memory feels heavy. They remind you that dignity is a daily practice, not a single event. His voice grew gentler as the truth pressed closer. He began to speak in full sentences instead of apologies disguised as plans. You listened without interruption and without building bridges for him. He finally admitted the tether he hadn't cut. An attachment fed by nostalgia and guilt, not by living love. He stood at the intersection trembling, and you did not move the stop signs. Archangel Michael says kindness and clarity can coexist. You can wish someone well while refusing to be split. You can be warm and still walk away. You started sleeping deeper after the decision to stop deciding for him. Your dreams cleaned the rooms your thoughts could not reach. You woke with your own name steady in your mouth. He sent a message before dawn 1 week later. Said he had ended it, said he had chosen daylight, said he was ready. You answered after sunrise because your peace answers on your schedule now. Archangel Michael says verification is not punishment, it is care. You watched for aligned actions, calls taken in the open, plans made in the light, history acknowledged without romanticizing. You watched for the quiet evidence of clean hands. Days passed without the old static. You noticed how laughter felt different when it wasn't competing with an echo. You noticed how your body leaned forward without bracing. Archangel Michael says healing changes posture before it changes pace. You stood taller at your sink, in your errands, in your sentences. Confidence returned like a migratory bird finding its season again. He apologized without performing. He told the story straight, not as a defense, but as a confession. He asked what rebuilding would look like for you, not for his comfort. Archangel Michael says rebuilding has blueprints. You drew them carefully, shared calendars, visible affection, no secret corridors. You required proof of demolition before you allowed new construction. He met your terms without flinching. He made a call in your presence that closed what had been left ajar. He stayed seated afterward and did not rush to be congratulated. Archangel Michael says endings done with honor bless everyone involved. They do not need to be cruel to be complete. They simply need to be true. And still, you gave yourself time. You did not sprint across the bridge he claimed to finish. You walked, pausing to feel the weight of each plank. He showed up for the ordinary days. Groceries, small repairs, the way he remembered your tea. He kept choosing you where it counts, the unglamorous middle. Archangel Michael says real love glows in the untelevised moments. It is how the room feels at 6 p.m. when the day wasn't special. It is how your shoulders settle when you hear the door open. On a quiet Thursday, you revisited the wound gently. Not to reopen it, but to understand the scar. You traced it with wisdom and thanked yourself for surviving. You wrote a letter you never sent. To the version of you who thought she had to compete to be chosen. You told her she is the choosing. Archangel Michael says the soul keeps receipts. Not to accuse, but to ensure you never pay twice for the same lesson. Knowledge is the discount your future receives. If your story diverges here, if he could not choose clarity, you still stand complete. Because you learned the posture of wholeness and the tone of your own yes. Because you learned that love without peace is a math that never balances. Archangel Michael says love that is for you feels like matching keys. Click, open, breathing room. No forcing the lock, no filing the edges with excuses. You started practicing joy in advance. You didn't wait for perfect circumstances to allow it. You built joy into your morning like a window that always opens. He began to protect your name in rooms you'll never enter. He corrected old patterns without needing to be asked. He turned his phone into a window, not a wall. Archangel Michael says trust grows where transparency lives. Sunlight in, shadows out. Simple, not easy, clean, not brittle. The other woman stepped fully into her own lane. You wished her distance that heals and paths that make sense. You kept your eyes on your own horizon. You created small traditions together. A walk after rain, a song while cooking, a weekly reset for the heart. These became the soft threads of your new fabric. Archangel Michael says repair is not a performance, it is a rhythm. It keeps time with truth. It plays quietly, every day, until it becomes the song. You also created traditions for yourself. A solo coffee where you review your boundaries like a captain checks the hull. A monthly inventory of energy, money, and attention. He started asking, "How can I support your peace this week?" You answered directly because you no longer translate your needs into riddles. He followed through because he finally understood the privilege of your trust. Archangel Michael says the body keeps score and also keeps applause. It knows when you are safe. It knows when a room belongs to you. You found your voice widening in other places, work, family, friendships. Clarity and love trained you for clarity everywhere. Your time stopped leaking. He planned a dinner under wide, honest light. No secrets in the shadows, no ghosts in the cutlery. He spoke vows without ceremony, promises without glitter, sincerity without performance. Archangel Michael says vows are verbs. They live in the choices we make when it would be simplest not to. They live in the habits we nurture when no one claps. On the day you realized you were no longer bracing, you cried a little. Not from fear, but from relief. Relief is the sound of doors unlocking inside your ribs. You thanked the journey without romanticizing the detours. You honored the learning without recreating the pain. You kept going, because going is what healed you. Archangel Michael says not every story ends in reunion, and not every reunion is wise. What matters is that your ending is authored by your values, not by your fears. What matters is that your life now speaks the truth of your worth. If your path moves on alone, it does so with music and light. Your home stays tender and uncluttered by confusion. Your table remains set for reciprocity. If your path continues together, it does so on level ground. No hidden basements, no trapdoors, no waiting rooms. Just two humans walking with eyes open and phones face down. Archangel Michael says either way, you learned the sacred difference between attention and devotion. Attention sparkles, devotion sustains. You now choose what sustains. You curated your friendships with the same clarity. No spectators to your pain, only companions to your growth. You let gossip starve and honesty eat. He began to celebrate your boundaries as if they were holidays. He thanked you for the standard you held when he faltered. He recognized that your no protected the future of every yes. Archangel Michael says love matures when gratitude replaces entitlement. When the presence of the other is seen as a privilege, not a possession. When the promise is not to perfection, but to repair. You planned a small trip to mark a fresh chapter. No extravagant detours, just places that smell like clean beginnings. You carried light luggage because you left old weight behind. On a quiet overlook, you spoke the words that had taken months to become true. I feel safe with me. He smiled because he heard the foundation beneath that sentence. Archangel Michael says the deepest romance is with your own integrity. When you keep your word to yourself, everything else aligns. When you fail, you forgive quickly and adjust, not abandon. The seasons turned, and your life kept pace with its own heartbeat. You missed nothing that required hiding to exist. You welcomed everything that could stand the light. He brought you a letter, not dramatic, not long. One page of steady sentences, present tense promises he was already keeping. You tucked it into a book you love, a place for words that have earned your trust. Archangel Michael says the past will sometimes knock politely. You may hear a song, smell a street, remember a night. Wave kindly from the window and keep cooking your future. Your home grew quiet in the best way. Not empty, but uncluttered. Not still, but calm. You stopped counting the days since the pain and started counting the ways your life fits now. Morning 1, honest. Evening 2, peaceful. Week 3, yours. Archangel Michael says the measure of healing is not that nothing hurts. It is that pain no longer negotiates your standards. It is that love and truth sit at the same table without arguing. When friends asked how you did it, you told them the simplest thing. I believed me. I kept believing me, even when it was inconvenient. He learned to believe you, too. To take your first no as final and your first yes as sacred. To treat your clarity as a gift, not a challenge. Archangel Michael says this is how futures are built. Not on fireworks, but on steady lanterns along a shared path. Not on drama, but on devotion. On an ordinary Sunday, you notice the old worry attempt a comeback. You breathed, checked the room, checked the evidence. Peace remained where you left it, in the center of your chest. You went to the window and let the light find your face. The world kept moving, and so did you. This time, with yourself fully intact. Archangel Michael says let the chapter close itself now. Not with a slam, but with a soft click that honors the pages you turned. Step forward as the author you are, spine unbent, margins clear. The love that is yours will continue to choose you. The life that is yours will continue to fit you. And the person you are will continue to lead, not follow, your own heart.